Good evening, Milton, and welcome to the City of Milton Virtual Common Council meeting, Tuesday, April 21st, 2020, 6 p.m. And can I get confirmation of appropriate meeting notice?
The agenda was posted at Dave's Ace Hardware, Piggly Wiggly, and Milton City Hall.
Is there a motion? Oh, okay. Just a little bit of a reminder. We will do our meeting like we did before. So I think when we did motions, people raised their hand. And then when we had discussion, and I have my little notepad here, I would just go through each council person's name, and each council person would have the opportunity to speak twice on the agenda item. So we'll do that this week too. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Ryan, you gonna make that motion?
Yep.
And Larry, raise his hand to second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Teresa, did you raise your hand? Aye. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't late and you. Okay, we have an agenda. Is there anybody from the public appearing at the meeting that would like to comment?
I am not showing any general public participants.
Okay, so we'll go on to item number 4, which is the highlight of the night, swearing in of newly elected officials. So congratulations. And Inga, are you doing this?
Yes. So this is for Devin, Linda, and Ryan, correct? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Linda Clark,
Having been elected
Having been
having
elected
been elected
as a common council alderperson,
as a
common council alderperson,
swear that I
swear that I
that I
will support the Constitution
will support
will
the
support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
of the
States
United States
and the Constitution
and the
and the
Constitution
Constitution
of the State of Wisconsin,
of the State of
of the State of
Wisconsin,
Wisconsin,
and faithfully and impartially
and faithfully and impartially
partially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
duties
of said office
of said office
and office.
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, Devin.
Thank you.
Welcome, Devin.
So now the rest of you have to chant "One of us." One of us.
I'm not worried my weird hat though to go with it.
Okay, and with each new election cycle, we elect a new Common Council president, and I want to thank Larry Lane for being our president this past year.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And leading us through the COVID-19 up to this point. So is there a motion to nominate someone for council president? Ryan.
I have a motion to nominate Bill Wilson for president.
Linda.
Second.
And then do we approve or deny that motion, and then Bill accepts it or denies it, or I can't remember how this goes, Mark.
Well, you'll need to call for any other nominations.
Okay. Any other nominations?
Will there be a motion to close the nominations?
We'll move.
Okay. And then Ryan second. Okay, Larry motioned to close the nominations and Ryan seconded it. What do we do next, Mark?
All in favor of that motion?
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. And then does Bill accept the nomination? Or does he have to get nominated, voted on first?
He has to be voted on first, yeah. He's been nominated, now there needs to be a vote.
So, Inga, do you want to try? Do we want to just do a voice vote, or do you want to use your voting system?
Voice.
I think just a voice vote's fine because we don't have more than one candidate.
Okay. We have a really cool anonymous voting system that Inga figured out for Zoom. But we'll save that for another time. So all those in favor for Bill Wilson to be our next Common Council president, say aye.
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 Aye, or raise your hand. Nay? Okay, great. Congratulations, Bill. I know you've been waiting your whole lifetime for this.
Thank you.
Thank you for accepting.
I'll be leaving town now for the next 6 months. Have at it. Okay, item number 6. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Linda is motioning to approve the consent agenda. Ryan has seconded it by raising his hands. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the consent agenda is approved. Number 7, discussion and possible action on Resolution 2020-08, authorizing the submittal of a grant application to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources to assist in funding story gardens at the Milton Public Library.
So I'm currently working on this grant application for story gardens for the pathway around the perimeter of story gardens, the outdoor programming space, and the surfacing for under the outdoor programming space and the raised garden beds. Part of the grant application process is to complete this resolution. Are there any questions specifically on it?
Larry, do you have any questions?
I do not. I was able to attend the meeting recently, and I understand what they're doing.
Bill, any questions or comments?
No questions.
Teresa?
No questions.
Devin, here's your time to shine.
No questions.
Ryan, any questions?
No questions.
Linda, any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2020-08? Larry, I see your hand. Larry's making the motion to approve. Linda has seconded that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that motion carries. General items. I think there were some committee meetings this week, right?
Yes.
Yes, so does anybody, just raise your hand if you have a committee report. Linda.
We had our committee with the Janesville Tourism, and we are putting together some brochures to put out there listing all of the restaurants that we have open. We have one that reflects the businesses separately. And our focus, I think, it looks like we're going to be focusing a lot on the outside, but still trying to remind people of what we have that we can't do now because of the virus. So we want to refresh everybody's minds of what we have done and encourage them to spend time outside on our trails and that sort of stuff.
Thank you. Any other committee reports?
Did you have, I don't know, Inga, Nal, if you had anything to add to that?
Just I think that the JCDB, their staff is doing a really great job of trying to figure out different ways to engage with their social media audiences, so then we can make sure that people are going to continue to come to Milton when everything settles down. They did launch at the beginning of the year an Instagram account, and then just recently a Pinterest account too, so check that out.
One thing we talked about was possibly putting together some small videos to talk about kind of, what we have, what we're doing, thanking those folks who are supporting local businesses and supporting local tourism, and then also kind of getting ready for whenever opening up may be to remind folks what we have. And we did talk about, so JACVB is going to put together kind of a cost estimate of what that's going to be. And right now the budget is somewhat in flux because there was a lot of advertising that we were going to pay for events that is no longer going to happen. So we're only 4 months into the year, almost 5 now. So they're going to try to figure out what's left of the budget and then what those videos may cost. And if it's going to cost additional dollars, what that may look like. And then if that's the case, then we may come back to our respective boards, the council and the chamber board, to see if there was any interest in supplanting funds for that type of activity.
Thank you. Any other committee reports?
Well, the Story Garden Subcommittee met and Parks and Recreation Commission also met both last night. Story Gardens, we talked a little bit more about the pathways, the ramps, and then talking about what we can potentially still do this spring, summer, while still keeping all the various factors in mind. So what we're planning to do is have an annual garden and a perennial garden in 2 of the raised garden beds that the Lions Club have constructed, and have those just on the upper level at the library at an appropriate time. So looking at like the end of May, early June to try and place those and at least stir up some interest in Story Gardens as well. And Parks and Rec, we talked a little bit about moving forward with the creation of their comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, and what that might look like will probably delay some of the public engagement pieces to it, just because this isn't really the best time to survey the public about what they love about their parks when they can't fully utilize them. So trying to balance those different factors to make sure that we get a good end product when it's finalized.
That's a good idea. Anything else from anybody on committees?
Just a comment that we have not been able to meet as a fire commission because the township has not been able to meet. They had indicated that they do not have anything in their own ordinances or anything indicating that they could meet via Zoom or any videotaping or anything other than a face-to-face meeting. They had hoped to try to rewrite something prior to the April meeting date, but Mr. Meyer has not gotten back to me. So until they do, we aren't able to get together. So I'm hoping soon, although I've tried to keep in contact with the fire personnel, and things seem to be going smoothly.
Thanks. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Oh, well, they'll have to figure that out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else from anybody? Staff reports? Howie?
Pretty much all the guys are back working now. Almost a complete schedule. The utility guys are still on a split shift. So they're doing that just so we don't end up with one group not being able to work and the other in case something did happen. Otherwise, we did get, the one paving done downtown and out at Putman also got finished. And we're working on some reports for the assessment role. Elizabeth Street's gotten bid out, and then also the lift station is complete, the new one on Parkview. So we have to do some assessment work for that to get that finished. So those will be items for some meetings coming up.
Thanks, Howie. Any questions for Howie? Okay. Scott?
Hey, everybody. We're holding our own at the police department. My biggest goal is to keep everybody healthy. So far, so good. And don't really have many updates. Our community policing initiatives are way down, so I don't have any cool stuff to tell you about because I told everybody to stop doing that. So we're gonna hold our own and keep responding to calls as we get them, and all is well.
Thank you. Dan?
Nothing much. We close on our refinance tomorrow, so sent the money to the bank, and so that will be final tomorrow. Other than that, nothing.
Inga?
Just quick, the Veterans Park Pavilion, the work on that is continuing and progressing. I met with Dick Fry and Mark Warren to talk about the plaque today and try and figure out how we can best recognize all the donors that have contributed to the project. Planning at this point for a July 5th dedication date. So keep that on your minds, and hopefully that all works out.
Who am I missing? Ashley?
The new governor's order allows libraries to do curbside pickup now, or starting technically Friday. But I'm still looking into what that means for us and some clarification on some things. So hopefully we'll have information at the end of this week or early next week about what we can do.
Ashley, may I ask a question? This is Larry. Is there a way, how are you going to communicate that to the public through the websites?
Yep, so we'll have it on our Facebook, of course, and our website, and we'll probably get an article in the Courier as well to reach those who don't do social media.
Al?
We've got a lot of stuff going on that's non-COVID related, believe it or not, that likely a big chunk of it will show up on the May 5th agenda. Things are shaping up to be a fairly lengthy plan commission meeting on the 5th of agenda with a number of site plans. And we may have as many as 2 TIF development agreements for new projects in our industrial park and commercial park. At a minimum, I believe there'll be 1, but there might be 2 depending on how fast they want to move. So yeah, there's surprisingly has been a lot going on. And the folks from Midwest Tennis reached out to me again today and said that they're still moving forward, and they wanted to make sure that we were able to respond if they needed to move quickly. And of course, they said we were. So yeah, it's I mean, it's great in the fact that people are still doing what they want to do, and it doesn't seem like that has slowed down. I mean, it hasn't stopped everything, I guess. Let's put it that way. I don't know what the world would be like, but for COVID, maybe we'd even have more activity. But I'm frankly surprised. Howie and I were talking about it today. I'm frankly surprised at the amount that we're seeing. I mean, I think we have as many as like 4 or 5 site plans potentially on the Plan Commission agenda alone. So, yeah, it's pretty cool in that regard. So, keeping us busy in that front. And then I think also in the May meeting, we'll have some discussions. Anissa, I don't know if you want to talk about what we have kind of been talking about in a way to help out some businesses or some businesses in terms of the potentially changing the licensing fees and things like that.
Yeah, we're it's been discussed at length on the calls with the Wisconsin League of Municipalities. Many municipalities are looking at reducing the alcohol licensing fees. It would be a temporary reduction just to help out some of our bar and restaurant owners that are up for relicense. And I think that fee is due July 1st. Is that accurate? So we're going to have some more discussions about that. Like, what does that look like? Is there an ordinance change? It looks like it would come before the council. So there's, just some small things that we can do to help our small businesses out. There's something exciting coming up May 1st, but I guess I'm really not allowed to talk about it, Inga. So
Oh, yeah.
But it's super exciting, and it is going to make you so proud of the city of Milton. And I feel a little bit like somebody else that's like, hey, something's coming. It's going to be great, but I can't tell you what it is. But it is going to be great.
It'll be huge,
So,
though.
mhm.
I said it's really going to be huge.
It is going to be statewide. You are,
Yeah.
you know, we are going to be famous yet again, doing
Again.
something really cool. So
Yeah.
We are Milton.
yes, we are. We're doing some good things out there. So that's exciting. I can't think of anything else. Am I missing anything? I don't know.
That's a loaded question.
Literally,
I have to
I
remind
don't know
myself
when-
what day it is.
I don't know when we started meeting. I mean, it was a long time ago. It seems like it was a long time ago. Hours and hours and hours of really gut-wrenching discussions about what about this, what about that, what about this policy, you know, Zoom meetings with CivMec, with, you know, just it was a long process, and every day we changed something. It still is kind of like that a little bit, and
Still is, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
you know, just this is really, really difficult for our leadership, and always focusing on safety. And I just, you know, I appreciate the support of the council and of the leadership staff and of the employees. It's just been so weird, and now we have a Supreme Court decision pending about opening everything up April 25th statewide. So that is just probably going to be a big challenge, you know, how that decision comes out. So it continues. It's still a pretty stressful time. And we are just so ever grateful that we're doing okay and we're hanging in there, you know, and all of our employees and staff, our community seems to be hanging in there too. So I guess that's all I have. So you guys want to do some team building? It looks like that's on the agenda. I'm not sure who told somebody to put that on the agenda. But so when I was distracted a little bit, I was trying to go through my emails for this article that I read that I thought would be fun to share, but I couldn't find it because I can't navigate my new phone very well. But here is a question. And you already know what order I call your name off in, because I already went through this. So Larry, get ready.
Good thing you gave me that hint. I'd be
I tried to do it. I wrote your names down on how I remembered you sitting up at the council. So the question is, what is something that you have come to appreciate more since we've enacted Safer at Home?
I guess I've come to appreciate life. Just the friendships I have, the friendships that I'd like to have, that I'm pursuing, the appreciation of my family, appreciation of my country, how blessed we are, even though it's chaotic right now. You look across the world and how chaotic it is elsewhere. I'm just appreciative of life, I think would be the way to describe it.
Well, this question, I guess, is just going to make me cry. That was a dumb idea. Thank you, Larry. That was amazing. Bill is next, and then Teresa.
Yeah, I'll just build on Larry's, and I guess Ethel and I were talking this morning about how hard it would be to do this alone, and we were thinking in particular of someone that I think all of you know in town who lost a husband recently, and you know how hard it would be to kind of cope with that double sort of loss. And so for me, it's just having each other.
Thanks, Bill. Teresa?
Well, they answered it. No. Yeah, I think it's been something that we had also talked about because of my husband's difficult health issues for the past couple of months. And so to have each other and be able to deal with those together, and to be there right as this began, and get through it has been wonderful.
Devin, sorry, I forgot to give you the heads up.
I would say I appreciate just our community in general. Everyone's really stepped up to be more supportive of local business and their neighbors, and just making sure that we're all getting through this together.
Thanks, Devin. Ryan?
I'm appreciative of my wife's efforts. See what she goes through during the day with the kids. Plus all the other stuff everybody else has said, just want to add something different.
Linda? Thank you, Ryan.
Everybody's has pretty much said everything, but one of the things that I appreciate more is how people are enjoying the simple pleasures throughout this whole thing. It's spring. We have our gardens are blooming. We can wave to our neighbors, even though we don't actually go sit with them. But the simple pleasures of just being able to get out and take a walk, and having your husband home or your wife home, because they can't work. All of that, Just those simple little pleasures that people are now beginning to revisit.
Thank you. Scott?
So I never thought I'd actually say this, but I'm grateful that my wife got fired from her job last year, late in the year, because it has really set us up nicely where she can be home so I can work. And that didn't think it would work out quite that well, but it certainly has.
Thanks, Scott. Howie?
I think you appreciate in this country the freedom to be able to go wherever you want and not have to worry about it and be anxious. And you appreciate being able to go and see people that you want to see whenever you can.
For sure. Thank you, Howie.
Mm-hmm.
Dan?
Besides what everyone else said, we should be thankful we're in the Midwest and not New York or California.
Right now, glad not to be in Iowa.
Ashley?
I think everyone pretty much covered it, but I am very grateful for my cat. I do live by myself, so I do have somebody I can talk to, so my cat.
Mark?
I'm grateful that despite the noise that we generally hear in the media or read about in the print or social media, the vast bulk of the people in this country, from what I've observed, really do believe that we are all in this together. And they are really supportive of each other, even if not verbally. It's quite obvious that that is the attitude, and that we'll all be helping each other to do whatever we need to get through this together. And so that's what's really impressed me, that people are still willing to sacrifice and do what's right for the good of everybody else.
Thank you. Inga?
Aside from what everyone else has said, I'm grateful for Disney sing-along specials on TV. Lightens the mood a little bit.
Yeah, great.
Thanks, Inga. Al?
I think my comments are similar to Howie's. It's appreciating the things that are no longer easy for us. for years, when my phone rang and it was my mom, you know, oftentimes I'd say, ah, and I knew that I was in for a 20-minute conversation that didn't generally lead to anything. And, you know, right before all of this started, she got very, very sick and she was in the hospital, and now she's in hospice and I can't see her. And the hardest part is I don't know if she knows why I can't see her. And I've talked to the nurses and stuff and you know, to see if she understands. And we don't know if she understands. So all those phone calls that I used to roll my eyes with, you know, you just appreciate it now that maybe I shouldn't have rolled my eyes.
Thanks, Al. I feel for you that usually when I'm the most busiest, when I'm on a Zoom meeting, I usually get a phone call on, I mean, I have 3 phones. I have 3 cell phones. So they all often go off at the same time. And usually it's my mom with like 5 text messages all at once. And I'm like, huh. But I really appreciate that my mom knows how to text message too. One of the things that my family has started doing is doing Zoom trivia once a week. So, and different family members host it, and we did it. The first time we did it was super fun. And, you know, after it was all done, people kind of messaged back and forth like, hey, thanks. I really miss you all so much. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Like, I'm not missing my family yet. But last Saturday, we did Zoom trivia, and it was all done. And I was so lonely, and I missed them so much. It was so heartbreaking. And that's, I think, when I really started being tired of this, and just like, oh, darn it. I was hoping I was going to get through this and never feel this way. But we all are going to have our points when we're done with it, and it's not done. But I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you doing the team building. And thank you for not making me cry too much. I'll cry when we're done with the meeting. And I guess I will see you all in a couple of weeks. I don't think we have anything else, right? May 5th, 2020. Some of you beforehand at a long plan commission meeting. Anything for anybody else? Devin, our tradition is always to have the new person make the motion to adjourn the meeting forever. So,
Yeah.
not seeing anything from anybody else. Devin, you want to take that on?
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, you got to unmute him.
I will motion to adjourn.
Ryan has seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? I miss you all so much. We'll meet again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Hey,
Be
Yeah.
healthy.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Well,
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, Milton.